Our planet has always been the unequal places. The bottom, staggering 70% of the global population controls just 3% of the global wealth. Compare that to the 8 wealthiest people whose wealth combined equals to the bottom 47% of the populations of the entire planet. Despite that, you might have heard that the top 1% isn't as wealthy as it might seem. You only need to have the net worth of the $770,000 and you can consider yourself the 1%. That's definitely a lot of the money, but it's not even a million. With that kind of the net worth, you can't get yourself the yachts or also the fly private. The media house price in California almost $600,000. So every house owner in California can consider him or herself the top 1%. Those who are buying these mega yachts, are flying the private jets, are ones who are at the top one of that percent, the billionaire club. As of 2018, there are over 2,200 US dollars billionaires worldwide, with the combined wealth over the 9 trillion. And that is more than the GDP of entire nations of some of the most advanced countries on the earth, such as Japan, Germany, or the United Kingdom. And what scares is the almost of wealth billionaire control has only been growing. Just in the year 2000, their combined net worth was below $1 trillion. 3 years ago, it was $7 trillion, and a year later, it's over $9 trillion. That's what we want to explore in this video is where you stand in the spectrum, or I shall say, where you're supposed to stand. Are you too poor for your age, or maybe you are ahead of everyone else? If you are at least, say, not a very good financial positions, you can always change that because it's there right in your hands. Whether you're fresh out of school, well into your career, or forging your path through life, it's never too late to start saving or to check to see that you're heading in the right directions. Calculations your net worth isn't really difficult. It's much easier than you think. Take the piece of the paper, draw the line in the middle of it. One side you had to add up the total value of your assets. This includes the current market value of your investments, accounts. If you have one, of course, rain timers, savings, homes, cars, trucks, valuable things like jewelry, and the cash value of your checking savings accounts. All and that's all of your assets. On the other side, write down your liabilities. This includes your mortgage, car loan, student loan, personal loans, credit card debts, $500 you own to your body, and any other from the debt you might own. And now finally, subtract your liabilities from your assets. The total cost is considered your personal net worth. Your total could result in the positive net worth or the negative net worth. If you are in the negative net worth category, don't be afraid, it's alright. It's typical for the people who are early in their careers to have a loan or the negative net worth if they have the student loans or are the new homeowners or just starting to save for the future. If you are in your 20s and have the zero in the savings, congrats, are doing not bad. I'm not kidding. It's fine to have any savings at this point of your life. Let's face it. If you are in college and have the student's debts, your part-time job would hardly cover your bills, leave alone paying your debts. So don't worry. Most 20 years old have the negative net worth. However, that doesn't mean you should not budget and make smart financial decisions, because often it's only later in your life you will realize the consequences of your financial decisions. If you are smart enough to start investing even as little as 5 to 10% of your incomes in your 20s, you are going to be well the average in the less than a decade. When you approach your 30s and you want to be doing it at least good enough, you should have at least save 6 months of your income as the emergency funds. If we take the average household income, that amounts is $31,000. But if you want to be the better than your average boy, then you should have at least a year of your incomes saved in your account. Emergencies happen sometimes, they even lead to the bankruptcies. Hundreds of thousands of people file or bankruptcy due to the unexpected healthcare bills, so be mindful. When it comes to your net worth, according to the Fed, the average net worth for the families in the US under the age of the 35 of the 2016 was $76,000. But this number isn't accurate because a small percentage of the wealthy Americans skewed it. That's why the median is much lower, $11,000. That's not hard to achieve. The reasons that this number is so low that even though average adult might have assets like a house and a car, the student loans and the mortgage would overshadow them. So don't worry as you begin to cover your student loan and your mortgage, your net worth would quickly build up. As you start hitting your 40s, ideally you should have saved at least 3 times your incomes. If you are earning $100,000, then your number is $300,000. But that's quite unrealistic for most people. In fact, according to the Fed, the median income of the 40 years old is a little below $60,000. Usually, people have families and a lot of the bills to cover at this stage of their lives. So it's wise to be better than the average if you don't want to be struggling financially. Taking care of the entire family isn't easy, especially when your children begin to grow. As you approach your 50s, your net worth should be significantly higher because you are also getting closer to your retirement age and you want to have the good retirement. You have to prepare for it. The median net worth of the 50 years old is $124,000. But keep in mind that it's the median. The average is $727,000, which is much higher. And your savings should be fine time your annual income. It might seem unrealistic to reach these numbers, but to be practical, even savings a small portion of your income over 30 years old is enough. And if you decide to invest, it's easy going to add up due to the power of the compounding. Keep in mind that you don't necessarily have to follow these numbers. You can work a little harder and retire in your 30s. Possibilities are beyond that you imagine. All my childhood, I wonder why on earth some people are rich while others are poor. My parents keep telling me that it all has to with school. Study hard, get good grades, and one day you are going to have everything you ever wanted. I didn't understand that logic then, and I still don't understand it today. The school was boring. I tried to study but never had the inspirations to get high grades. However, today things are different. The road to building wealth is clear, like never before. Even if you not have access to learn directly from your wealthiest people, or you are lazy to read the books, everything is clean and cleared on the internet. You have it there. Money alone isn't going to make you wealthy. Your dollar are going to lose their value year after year. True wealth hides in the obtaining assets and continuously payback. And with the power of the compounding, you are only going to get wealthier. 7% of the $1,000 might not be much. I mean, making $70 a year from your investments isn't a lot. But 7% on $10 million is the $700,000. The amount of wealth and would put you in the top 1%. It's exactly difficult to build the foundations of your wealth, but once you do it, it accumulates by itself. Most people find it difficult to deny themselves the short-term pleasureness for the sake of the long-term wealth. You might have to live on the extremely tight budget, even if you are making six figures. As for 2018, the average median household income in the United States is a little over $61,000. The stock market has proved itself to guarantee 10% returns in the long run, which means with the investments of the little over $600,000, you can ensure yourself that the average household incomes without working another day in your life. Of course, that's just the theory because as humans we have to work to give some meaning to our lives, but you get the idea. Nobody has then excuses for not understanding how to build wealth. The key is to start as early as possible to take advantage of the power of the compounding. If you are in your 20s, it might be silly to overthink about your 40s and 50s. But the fact is, think about how fast last year has passed. How about the last decade? Imagine if you started back in 2010, how wealthy you would be today. It's pointless to regret over the past because time can never be reversed. But what you can do is to make the different decisions today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure to give this thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the bell beside so the next video appears right on your homepage. Thanks for watching and until next time.